Boulevard on-ramp. It's like a blocky accident in Roll 3 now.
I'm alright.
Come on, move it!
The age of man is over. The armies of heaven and legions of hell now wage battle over the tattered remains of the earth. Riding against them all is the most feared horseman of the apocalypse, sent to restore the ancient balance that has been threatened by an unholy conspiracy. His name is War.
started Vigil, we wanted to make a console game. And we wanted to make a game that would be pretty much a defining game in this genre. We wanted to take all these elements of games we loved and put them into a nice, compelling experience.
So we wanted to pick a fairly dark subject matter that got people excited right away. As soon as we said the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, that instantly got people excited. The cool thing about the Four Horsemen is that everybody has heard of them, but there's not really any information about them, which really allowed us to go crazy and just create this fiction, make them our own characters, and just make them as big and badass as we wanted.
And so we took all the elements of that, you know, in the standard story, we took the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse and the Beast and the Abyss. We took whatever was cool from that, and we sort of crafted our own mythology around that. We have an awesome team. We've really paid attention to bringing in the right people. They're highly talented, highly skilled. They know what they're doing. They can take something cool and translate it into an actual visceral visual experience, and Joe's the perfect person for that. I mean, his background in comics, just his overall style and imagination.
Of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, we wanted to start with the war because he's probably the most badass. He's a warrior. He has a giant sword. He's got the flaming red horse. He basically rains death on everybody. And he's definitely not a bad guy. You know, he's not a goody two-shoes, but he does have some morals. He has honor.
War is a badass. I mean, he can kill anything. You'll fight bosses that are, you know, multiple stories tall. You'll throw buses at them. You'll fight them on ruin. You do these cool interactive sequences where you kill them. When it comes to fighting like demons or angels, he's pretty much unmatched. I mean, there's no force in the game that can stop him.
You can pick up cars and smash guys with it. You can throw cars at guys. You can flip buses over, cut down lamp poles and beat guys over the head with them.
I think it'll be a game that people will remember for years to come.
In Darksiders, you play the role of War, one of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. In the beginning of the story, the Horsemen are implicated in the destruction of the Earth. They are punished for this because it was not meant to be destroyed yet. They stumble onto basically a conspiracy between heaven and hell.
As a punishment for what happened, you're stripped of all your powers and sent back to Earth. And War kind of has to start a little weakened. You do start off with your legendary sword, but you don't have your horse, you don't have all your abilities. By the time you get back to Earth, after being punished, the apocalypse is over, the people are dead, the Earth's destroyed, it's a complete wasteland.
And War has to prove his innocence and kill everyone until he gets the answers, find out who betrayed them, and redeem himself and get his divine powers back.
And you start in a little more familiar setting, you know, some crumbled buildings, some torn up streets, and as you go deeper and deeper, it gets more and more crazy into like demonic realms and angel fortresses. It's kind of like a fantastic comic book story of the end of the world. Angels and demons are somehow involved and vying for control of these petty humans, and we took all that thing and just weaved it into a story that was extremely compelling. Characters are really important in Darksiders. I mean, you're fighting demons, you're fighting angels, you're fighting ridiculous mythological creatures that have really never been imagined before. What Joe brings to the table is pretty much unbridled creativity.
Translating Joe's style, I mean, this is an amazing style. Characters would just stand there and they look like they're going to just get at you straight away. We needed to translate this into 3D. Boy, that was a challenge. But we did it through lots of iterations, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. I think we have something pretty amazing.
When you start with a character that's already awesome, like a Horseman of the Apocalypse, and he does that translation to it, it becomes even cooler.
We wanted to create a visual style that was unique, more our own. It's more stylized. It looks more like a cool comic book adventure or graphic novel adventure. It's, I think, the coolest thing that I personally have ever worked on.
A lot of games in this genre focus on one very specific element. Either it's combat, or it's puzzle solving, or it's traversal, and they take you along a very linear, simple path through the game. And we wanted an experience that was much more rich and diverse. One thing you get really well in an open world game is freedom of exploration. You can go wherever you want, but what you don't get is really strong cinematic moments. So we wanted to work in and have elements of both.
So basically, we broke up the game into a series of quick action scenes that are a little more focused, and then we open up into the adventure spaces or the hub areas where it sort of connects all these action pieces. And in those, you can explore at your own pace. There's missions that you have to carry out, and you can do them in any order. As your powers grow, you can access new areas that you couldn't get to before.
We have a lot of exploration, a lot of cool combat, really high cinematic values, all wrapped up in a nice little package.
If you're a fan of third-person action games, if you like cool epic stories with lots of over-the-top action, you're going to love Darksiders.